Durango's looking pretty good, except for this one pretty bad scab right back here. So we're going to take care of that. All that grinding didn't even really get down to the bare metal, as you can see. So the trick here is to use this thing on that thing and not have this wheel run away on us. We'll see how we do here. That's not bad. That's nice. Notice how it's a real silvery, pearly looking finish. The proper steel is, you know, exposed right down to the bottom. I'm gonna use a scraper, a razor blade, and I'm gonna peel some of that rust right in there out too. But I'm really happy with this. Now that we got this cleaned up, I'm gonna take some alcohol and a tack cloth and wipe that out really good before I start applying my Bondo. Now I want to point out that I'm using a tack cloth because these rags, or these rags that we can get at the automotive shop or the you know, Home Depots, Menards, places like that, they leave a lot of lint in this area and we can't have any lint in there, okay? So remember, we're gonna use a tack cloth. Well, dang it. Read the directions on this can of Bondo here, and I guess I got to get out the 80 grit and sand out the perimeter here, which kind of makes sense because we want the Bondo to attach all the way around. Got ahead of myself there. I'm gonna call that good. Get the alcohol, wipe it all back down with the tack cloth, and now we get to start putting the Bondo on. I'm ready to mix up the Bondo and put in the cream hardener. So I decided to use my wife's pie pan. Actually, I'm just kidding. I don't have a wife, but I am taking an application for anybody who wants to make pie with me. We'll talk about that later. Whoa, you better stir that up, huh? I think that's a lot better. Like that. It's a good start. I'll probably put about an inch of this on there. Should have about 3 or 4 minutes of work time. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. That's where I'm going to leave that first coat. Seems like I always get a good idea a little too late, but put some painter's tape along this rubber trim across here. And going back to the 80 grit, you can see that, and I have it on the block here. So I'm going to sand this down because it's been 20 minutes, and this is nice and hard now. We got this all packed up with stuff. This is pretty smooth. This is looking so good. I'm just going to go straight to a 400. I put it on the block, and we're going to sand this out. Wow, that's nice. I'm going to wipe this down with alcohol and my tack cloth one more time. So this is drying while I'm taping off the perimeter here so I can do a localized primer and paint coat. So after I wiped that down, I realized that I had some clear coat that had peeled away, And so I did the sanding with the block and the 400 grit sandpaper just to feather that. Hopefully that way when I put my primer and paint on this, I have a nice clean area over here, and it all just blends together and everything just kind of disappears into one coat of paint. Burning daylight here, but this is how I've got it all taped up. Taillight's all taped off. I did a soft roll. You can kind of see how I left the edges a little bit exposed because I'm hoping the paint will actually kind of leave a soft edge around there. And I don't plan on painting down there. I'm going to stay up in this area. But I got my windshield wiper taped off. And then I have my bumper just screened off with some bags. And I'm going to try to stay over on this side, even though there's a badge and everything over there. So hopefully all the overspray and everything will just kind of be right in this area. We'll see how terrible or how great it looks when I'm done. I like this self-etching primer, so I'm going to put on a light coat, let it dry for 2 minutes, put on another light coat, let it dry for 2 minutes, put on a third coat, I'll let it dry for like 20 minutes, and then I'll start putting on the red that matches the body. The interesting thing about that self-etching primer is it does leave a little bit of a rough residue, and the instructions say that after 15 minutes of that drying, I can put some water on it and wet sand that. So I'm going to just do a very gentle wet sand on this area. I grabbed my blow dryer and I'm going to give this a little. All right, wish me luck here. It's not bad for a first coat of rattle can. Let's do coat number 2. I think we should give it one more coat. I also picked up the same brand as this red that matches my truck. I picked up this clear coat. So I've got this shaken up really good, and I'm going to go ahead and put some clear coat on this. Here's the moment of truth. Let's pull off some of this tape and see what it looks like. All right. There it is. You know, if you remember from the beginning, the big old scar, and now that big old scar is gone. I'm really happy with how this turned out.